What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of No Client Agent Privilege, aka No Cap Podcast. It's your boy Evan Lawfer, your other boy Will. We're going to be talking about a lot today, so we're going to go ahead and dive right into it, and we're going to go ahead and congratulate the Atlanta Hawks on their 3% chance of winning that #1 pick. What are you guys gonna do now? Do you move Trey? Is that what we're pushing for? Is Trey to San Antonio or trade to, honestly, plenty of places I'm sure would love to have a guard like Trey right now, but
Yeah, I mean, he's a defensive liability for sure, but
to say the
his
least.
scoring and passing ability are
But where has the league gone? Scoring and passing.
right.
So
Defense is not
I mean,
focused as
let's
much
talk
now.
about, let's just say, defense. When you have a Wembanyama down low, do you really need to guard hard at the top, or can you just let him go by you and let him deal with it?
I mean, you've
Yeah.
seen the clips. People won't even
Yeah.
shoot underneath the basket because of Wembanyama.
I know Kyrie tried a little bit, but that didn't go to
Yeah,
plan.
no,
So,
no, definitely not. But I think the Spurs, they sit with the 4th pick. Do they
yep.
need it? What are they going to get out of one of the weakest draft class? What's being called one of the weakest draft classes
I mean, we
in
call it that,
recent history.
but we're only calling it that because of how dramatic the last like 5 have been. They've all had some type of generational player.
Sure, yeah.
So it's very hard because, like, even if you go like early 2000s, like, you had a generational player like 1, 2, 3, 4, like back to back. It's kind of like the same thing right now. It's been like the Zion, the Treys, the Wembanyama, like all these generational type players and guys like the Ants in these last 5 seasons. Now it's like the weakest, but where are we really talking with regards to the weakest? Because the guy, Sar, I like him. I think, like, as a number 2 or number 1, whatever he ends up going, I like him. Like, I watched his film. I think, weak draft classes,
Subjective.
disenfranchised.
Because you never know.
Yeah, how do you know? Like, how do you know? So, but I understand the reasoning behind the saying, the depth of it. After those top 20 picks, there is a decent fall off with regards to, and even the guys that are coming that are like, I don't want to say late bloomers, but stayed in college a little bit longer, that aren't, now projected as the top 15, 20 picks that were 2 years ago, that stayed in because of NIL or whatever it may be. Maybe they should have gone 2 years ago.
Yeah, maybe.
So,
but they might have a chance now that, this draft class is a little jumbled up.
Right, exactly. So, and now with the combine going on right now, you really can show yourself. I mean, we just saw videos of Zach Edey shooting threes where he looked super comfortable. I mean, you never would have saw him do that at Purdue in the offense that they ran. But it's just not the way they ran their offense.
Right.
So now, giving an NBA scout a firsthand look at, hey, this is what I can do without being restricted, I guess I would say, more so than anything. I can do it all. Like, don't think of me as just a 7'5", 7'6" center that can only be in the post. Look what I can do. I can stretch the floor, blah, blah, blah. But then again, we've seen it, the Jokers, the Embiids, the big name guys, the Lopez's, you got to be able to stretch the floor. If you're going to be able to only play down low, you're probably going to get picked apart. And so with the guards that are in the league, that's
and again, it's just a drill. I'm not,
of course.
I'm not shooting 25 3-pointers in a row.
Well,
but they talked about him. They talked about Bronny doing those drills, and it's like, that's great. But now the scrimmages are today, I think. We'll get more competition, real game flow.
That, and we also talked about Bronny even, sucking at shooting at college. So, like, these drills, and I even saw something about how he shot 44% at Sierra Canyon. And I'm like, I know we're not trying to say shooting in high school is comparable to shooting at the NBA range. Like,
college.
Or college, any of them. Like, you're talking about 3 different lines. It's the fact that was even brought up as a statistic of Bronny's range and abilities is blasphemy.
It might be like apples to oranges almost.
Literally, I mean, it is not even close. And I completely get, like, at this point for Bronny at the combine, you're just trying to make a name for yourself with a team that's going to take you because they think they have a chance at your dad, and you're going to have to live with that. You really are, because you didn't do what you needed to do in college to really make your own name. So
Well, kind of like what we talked about last week. He should probably stay another year or two.
agreed.
Go to, like we said, West Coast Conference or Big
Yeah,
West.
go to
Stay out
Gonzaga.
west if they would take
Well,
him.
I'm saying,
You
like,
know,
I mean, I think they take him just because of the namesake, but it would also put him into a conversation where you're all-around draft picks. Are you that good? Whereas, like Isaiah, the kid from USC, he was taking up, so much play time. It's not like Bronny ever got in anyway. But
right?
again, just kind of one of those if ands. But at this point, he's staying in the draft. He's not going back to school.
You think?
That's what he said.
Oh, that's what he said.
That's what they said. That's what everyone's saying. Which at this point, somebody's going to take him in the second, bring him into summer league, and put him on a roster. Whether it's the G League to play wherever dad is. And the thing with the G League is, even if you're on, so say dad signs with Cleveland, free agency, goes to Cleveland, doesn't necessarily mean he has to be on the charge to get called up. Like, you can get signed from the G League to go play for any team. Right. It's just an affiliate that can offer you a two-way contract right off the bat. You have first of right refusal. Okay. So the G League, the team, whoever your affiliate is, they have the opportunity to offer you first. And then another team that's asking for you, they can trade and, all that stuff. So it's not a big deal, but it is something to look towards where if the Charge end up taking him in the G League draft, great. Because then that probably means that they're already talking to dad about, hey, dad, home reunion, one last shebang. Like, it could be something to look forward to. Or look, again, I think also LA's come out and said they have no problem taking Bronny. He's a South SoCal kid, grew up there, knows the area, all the little things. And then they obviously want to keep LeBron too. So it's not too far-fetched to think that LA is going to try and do the same thing.
Right.
Like, so right. Where other teams view Bronny, I don't know. I
don't agree. Obviously, I'm sure I'm not the only person that doesn't agree with that whole situation.
Of course not. I mean, nobody. I mean, honestly speaking, if you're a realist of the sport, you shouldn't agree with it at all. Like, but that's just the cold hard facts that your dad's the best player in the world. They have an opportunity to get him. We're gonna take your son. You want to stay or you want to come?
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those bait and switch tactics, honestly speaking.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be interesting to see what team does take him, if any. Which I guess I shouldn't be saying if any, but
somebody is going to. It'll be
interesting to see what team takes him and how that plays into LeBron James's hand, as he said that he doesn't. It's not really a priority of his anymore. He might have just been saying that.
See, I
did
agree.
Hear that.
I agree. I think it's just something for him to say to keep teams on their toes. Like I'm not dependent on my son wherever he goes. I'm going,
right.
But I just find it hard as a father figure to be like, not a fuck you to your son, but it's like the team's offering me a contract to play because you're gonna come.
Right.
I don't really see LeBron being like, maybe I guess if it was like a really bad team, I guess, maybe like the Wizards or who else is really bad? Atlanta,
the
like Pistons. Like LeBron ain't going to Detroit to play. He'd rather go to Cleveland, which they have the money and they have the cap and the ability to sign him and things like that. Right. So there's that. But as we get out of the combine and draft, because again, the repertoires that some of these players possess in the draft, still kind of uneasy about where you're going to build your franchise. There's no franchise guys that I would consider in this draft.
Not outright, no.
Not outright.
Not outright.
You have good key pieces. Like bat. Dalton Kincaid can come in and play for so many teams right now as a great role player. But would I go and take a top 10 pick on him to really legitimately build my team around?
You might have to, because there's just nobody else.
Well, that's the other case.
Donovan Clingan from UConn.
Yeah.
The 7-footer. All these guys that are big, they can kind of space the floor a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously it was college ball, so they have to make sure their game
we're gonna go against. We're gonna go against guys the same size, same ability.
There's teams that need people like that.
Oh, no doubt.
Thunder are one of them. Obviously, they still need somebody else to go along with Chet Holmgren.
What do you guys have pick wise? Do you know?
12.
12?
Yeah, or 14.
Will he be there?
I think it's 12.
time, he won't be
No,
there. He won't
he's
be there.
third right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably top 5.
It's Rishiker, Sarr, and Klinger
Zach,
are
yeah.
top 3. So,
Yeah.
and then Rob
Dillingham
Dillingham
has
from
4.
Kentucky. So
I don't, you know me on him. I don't know if I consider him a top 10 pick, but
Collier is 12th right now.
Oh, okay. See, I would think, okay, see, you might as well take a chance on Zach Edey.
He's higher.
He's higher than 12? Really? Good for him. I thought he was going to drop to like 15.
Edey's 14th.
Ah, see, I was close. Yeah. Damn, I was close.
But the Thunder drafts 12th, so.
He could be there.
I'm
just saying, he could be there.
He definitely could be there.
But yeah, so it's talking about what teams are going to do now, though. Let's talk even a dynasty that's kind of come to an end. Warriors. Where are we going? What are we doing? Klay's gone.
You think?
I think Klay's gone.
Klay's gone.
I mean, at this point,
where does Klay go?
I don't know. That's where I'm. I don't
know.
Klay go? I don't know. That's where I'm.
He's such a
huge.
I think
price
the Warriors front office is juggling between
so much
being nice,
so much being
and
loyal,
kind of rewarding their loyal players.
Yes,
that kind of kinship versus. It's a basketball team and we want to do the best we can.
Well,
because with that group of players, you're not going to do the best you can. Just by the past 2-3 years of Klay Thompson, like I know he's battled some injuries, and that's like we get that. And
Agreed.
I'm sorry, I feel bad.
No, of course, but it's part of the game, though. You can't feel bad.
He made his money. He won his rings.
You can't feel bad with stuff like this. Like as an owner, as a GM, like you have to. At the end of the day, you do what's best for the team. And if that doesn't include the player that's associated with that decision, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Like you have to. As much as love and abilities you have for the player, even as an agent, like if the team comes to you and says the cap hit is just going to be too much and we can't win, you're going to fight for your player. But at the end of the day, if the owners and the GMs are telling you that that's what they feel about the team, as much as I want to be defending my player and why he deserves that check, there's not much I can do. If that's where the team is leaning towards, like, hey, we love you. And we're talking about teams that are fighting for playoffs, fighting for championship. With Klay, with Steph, you're always going to have that chance.
Is he a free agent this offseason, Klay?
No. Well, Klay is, yeah.
Klay is.
Steph, I was just saying, when you have him on the roster,
right?
You're always got a shot.
The only thing with Klay is that you either get him to take a pay cut, or maybe you tell him that we'd like to retire, or we'd like for you to retire as a Warrior. So young. Why don't you?
Too young. I mean,
too young. What is he, like 35?
Yeah, but I mean, right. You're at the point. He's at the point where he's still got so much game left. Into some of these injuries have just kind of like fogged the road for him. Now it's kind of like, I mean, do you go down the street to Sacramento and be a part of their little power squad at the guard position?
I was thinking Phoenix.
Yeah, but you got so much going
Spurs?
on. I could see Spurs.
Come on over.
Klay, and Wemby.
Klay and Wemby.
Woo!
That sounds kind of nice.
We're talking a little dirty now. We're talking a little dirty now.
Sounds kind of nice.
Woo! It got me hot over here.
Yeah, right. Trey,
Klay, and Wemby.
Trey on the Spurs is definitely something that needs to happen, I think. And then
you can clip that one right there.
Yeah,
clip that one right there.
The Hawks, they need to restructure some stuff. They
got a lot. They got a lot to do.
Keep DeJounte Murray, get rid of Trey, kind of build around him, or deal off everyone. Capella gone. I think they have Kevin Huerter's on the
go back to our TNT reference and go back and blow it all up again.
They have Bogdanovich.
I do like Bogdan.
Sadiq Bey.
I do like Sadiq.
Garrison Matthews. I think I've heard that name before. I think
Sadiq's a great core player where you can run a lot through him, so I like him.
DeAndre Hunter.
DeAndre out of Virginia, I like him.
I don't know. They just don't.
Offensively, he needs a lot of work, though.
Yeah, and they have Jalen Johnson, too.
I like Jalen. Jalen's got a lot to do. But, it's not bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was.
No,
you can do a lot with that if you trade Trey at that. If Atlanta trades the first and Trey to something like, to get a bunch for for both.
Because
There's a
otherwise,
lot on the table. There's a lot on the table.
They're just gonna be in that play-in spot for
Yeah,
the next couple
basically
years.
next 3 years. Yeah,
they're just gonna be stuck.
Agreed. But yeah, I mean, again, with the Warriors too, and kind of feeding off the Hawks, what they're gonna do. You know, now we're looking at the playoff picture, 2-2 for everybody except for Celtics. And honestly, after the game last night, probably should be 2-2. Jason Tatum went off to really seal the deal for them. Cavs really, with no Donovan Mitchell, you know, they really held their own. I mean, Celtics got away with one there. It should have been 2-2, but you know, really, if I'm looking at the playoff picture, would you have thought Minnesota would be given a run for their money to Denver like this? I mean, they really have kind of found that formula to keep them in check, and I think they frustrated them.
Now the series is tied, though.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Did you think that the games would be as close as they are? And just in generally speaking, because I thought we'd go 3-1 immediately. I thought it was going to be 3-1,
you
no
said,
doubt.
maybe it was a week or two ago that the Denver knew it was coming in game 2. They knew it was coming. They knew what they needed to be prepared for, and they didn't. So they lost. But it's still Denver.
Right.
And they obviously were able to find something that worked for them. I haven't watched those games too closely. I've been more focused on the Thunder.
We know. OKC man over here. We get it. We get it.
But you know, just the way that obviously Michael Malone has been able to change the dynamic of the series, and
that's what great coaches do.
And,
that's what great coaches do.
And that's what great players do.
You play to who you've got, and you play to what the games have told you, what the analytics have said, and you create something where you benefit for your team.
Right.
And if it doesn't work out, you go back and you change it. But if it does work out, you add on to it. And in the playoffs, that's all you can do. As a good coach, your schemes are set. They're game by game. So if that game didn't go well, the first two obviously were not up to par of what they were trying to do.
Right.
So now games 3 and 4. Now we finally, okay, this worked, that worked. Now we're kind of getting into that. We're the champs. We're gonna show you what the fuck we're made of.
Sure.
So now that's where we're at. So, but for everyone else, I think OKC last night really got away with one. I mean, it was down to the wire. Luka missing free throws is unheard of. But again, a core of guys that really, you know, I mean, I think it really set a tone to me at the end of the game where the whole team did the interview. I think that just speaks volumes of what they're trying to accomplish. Like, very rarely do you even like during games when they do the press conferences and stuff during the game, like Jaylen Brown was doing a mid-game press conference during a timeout, and I'm just thinking to myself, what? We're talking to a player in the middle of a playoff game, and he's just so nonchalant. Like, it was really a nonchalant for Boston, I felt like, and they honestly almost let that one slip. So for me, watching the game after and watching the whole team do the press conference just spoke volumes to me about OKC and the culture that they've built.
Absolutely.
Because I could never see Luka, Kyrie, Tim Hardaway Jr.,
probably not.
Lively all together at the end of the press conference,
Probably
making
not.
that kind of like conversational.
Probably not.
We got that. We got this. We, you know, this, that, and the other, you know, stuff like that. So
OKC's been doing that though. You know,
but that's what I'm saying. That's the culture. That's the
chemistry
culture.
is what's necessary to.
There's only one other team that even comes to mind, and that's Heat.
The Heat.
The only other team that comes to mind that would do anything like that. The Bams, the Jimmys, the Tylers, you know, the Duncans. They're very rarely to find teams like that and organizations like that. And even transitioning into the NFL side, how many other teams did you see do that? No. I'd say the Detroit Lions and couldn't even tell you another team, honestly. Kansas City.
That has chemistry like that? Kansas City?
Kansas City and Detroit. Those are probably the only two teams I'd say have.
Maybe Kansas City.
All right, come on. You get it. I mean, KC definitely has that momentum with regards to the players around them. They love each other. They know they're winners. And it's hard to want to not be a part of that.
Right.
So,
and it's not like you can't do interviews like that because OKC's done it all
year round.
So,
even when they were having their ups and downs on the losing side, they were still together.
Yeah.
So it's great to see that, and you know,
I'm sure whoever else they pick up in the offseason is gonna mesh well. And,
If they do get a Zach Edey, you're telling me Chet and Zach aren't going to be able to go at it for a little while? You know, put a big body on Chet, make him get bumped and bruised, and make sure he grows up. You know, gets a little bigger. I mean, his boy Eddie, he's big as Zach, going head to head at USA together, kind of same thing. So, but yeah, now transitioning into the NFL side, rookie mini camps are done, contracts are getting signed. Jordan Travis got signed. Bunch of guys that we said were gonna get signed, maybe didn't get signed. Crazy to think how quickly that happened.
Yeah.
2 weeks gone, and now whether or not you're gonna be in the NFL.
Yeah.
And it's, I've already had calls made to me about what do we do next? Our agent's telling us this, our agent's telling us that. What do we do? And it's like, hey, I'm not your agent. You need to go talk to them. Like, I can't help you.
Yeah, no.
Like, I understand you're trying to, get your next opportunity and whatnot, but it's like, I'm not your agent. You're not paying me to do this stuff. So it's like, as we talked about it earlier too, like, finding the right team in the right spot. I don't know what any of these scouts said. I don't know where you're supposed to get better at or where you're supposed to be. Like, how am I supposed to help you? So on the rookie mini camps and stuff, like all these kids that are gonna, they're one shot, kind of gone.
Oh yeah.
Like, if they didn't come in and do or exceed expectations, which as an undrafted free agent or as a priority free agent,
you got a lot to prove.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Like, you're talking about guys that are, fighting for just to stay on practice squad. Those guys, the vets that are trying to find those spots, they're not letting no rookie come in, undrafted free agent come in, take their spot. No shot. So
nope.
OTAs, maybe you're lucky enough to get a call in July or June, end of June, where they have that open roster spot, or somebody didn't work out, something happened, blah, 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 whatever it might have been, you get that call. Hey, good on you. But those calls are slim to none. So, and then talking about culture and really about paying their guys. I mean, the Lions, Jared Goff, 4 years, 212, 80% of it guaranteed, 170 million guaranteed. I mean, talk about a team that you want to be a part of. Or that you want to be a franchise.
It's exciting to be a part of the Lions franchise or fan base.
You're telling me that we're paying our guys and we're getting better. Like, our draft picks, those are some great draft picks. So I'm looking at it now. We just paid our quarterback. We just paid our lineman. Who else did we pay? We didn't have to pay Aiden yet.
Right? I don't know. I don't know who.
They've paid everybody that has needed to be paid in order to be a successful team. So, like, for me, as an agent, I would love for my guys to go and sign with St. Brown. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Yes, St. Brown.
Offensive tackle.
Yeah, Sewell. Penny. That's my boy. So showing love to those guys, as an agent, it makes me want to send my guys there.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to. I just know the contract negotiations are in favor of the players. So as an agent, if I'm going in and I'm talking to the GMs and this and they have faith in my guy as much as faith that I have, the contract negotiations are probably easy.
Yeah.
They're probably simple. Hey, he did what we asked him to do. We're going to pay him.
Especially when you have money to throw around. Like Detroit, I don't think they really had before now. Anybody that they had to pay out.
Not like that. Not like this, at least, with regards to that. So, and the other thing is, too, you're talking about owners that are willing to pay. Whereas, like, the richer owners are usually the ones that have it harder or are cheaper, I guess I would say, in order to pay those guys. Like, oh, no, we're good. We'll find somebody else. Like, those guys are the ones that end up screwing a team over in the long term of stuff.
Giants.
So, yeah, and you're talking about ownership where the money is huge. Billionaires.
Yeah.
And we're talking crazy money, and we're really saying a 212 million. Nickels and dimes to them. Nickels and dimes, like nothing. So, for me, I laugh at all that stuff because it's, the rule of thumb is always the richer owners or the richer teams are usually honestly the cheaper ones when it comes to paying players and stuff like that. So it's always funny.
Yes.
But with the NFL obviously having a hard cap, you have to be a little bit more strict. Yeah, you got to be a little bit more strict to who you are paying. So it's understandable on the NFL side, whereas like the NBA side, you can be a little bit more lenient with the the luxury tax and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
You got the money, you might as well pay it. So no big deal there. And then really, trying to get into the NFL, and we were talking about rookie minicamp. We're getting into that spot now where OTAs are going to come along next week, 2 weeks, and a 90-man roster fills out like that. and now where do you go? So, really trying to find out, some of these guys, any of you free agents that want to come to LSC, let us know. You've got my contact. You can definitely reach out. No problems. Really, now we're getting into LSC. We're adding more clients, traveling more for sure. Sponsorships are coming in. We're going to be doing some giveaways as well from our sponsors at JLab, probably New Balance, and a couple other ball giveaways for our listeners and a lot of our watchers out there. So we got a lot coming your way. We're going to have clients on. We're going to be filling up the Tiki Hut with more guys telling their story, and girls. We're going to have some of our girl clients come on and hang out with us and kind of tell their stories and give you guys an inside look of a agent-client relationship, along with telling their stories of where they are in their careers, whether it's college guys, pro guys, and pro girls. And same with our travels. I'm going to be going to Europe. Will won't be joining me, unfortunately, but we'll be going to Europe. We'll be doing interviews with our guys Chad and D'Angelo over in the GFL and the ELF, the European League of Football. We're going to be talking with them and giving them experiences of what we're doing as client, an agent, and really trying to give them the opportunity to tell their stories, as well as getting them the next opportunity to be professionals. Really trying to dig deep in. Hey, we went to here so we could get film. We went to here to get film. We're taking the opportunities given to us to really push the issue of who we are as an agency and who they are as players, along with being able to give them the opportunity to live out their dreams,
yes.
And also being able to travel the world. I mean, it's how many times you get to go travel the world and get paid for it? I mean, it's very great, things, and really, as 23, I think D'Angelo's 25 and Chad is 24, young guys being able to go explore the world like this. It's a great opportunity. So
have you been over there?
I haven't been to Europe. Have you?
No.
I haven't been.
Italy.
Italy. Well, I'm going to Italy too, but that's just for vacation.
Well, where are you going?
Lake
Italy
Como.
And where else?
Well, Germany,
Yeah, I saw
Germany, and Austria.
Okay.
So Berlin down to Austria down to Italy. So it's basically just
you're
straight.
Going by like bus or something.
Train.
Yeah.
So it's like
they
literally.
Have those there.
So yeah, they have normal transportation over there, unlike America. Whereas like only big cities have trains, and that's literally only New York, basically.
Yeah.
So so from Germany to Austria to Lake Como. So
okay.
And then Lake Como is just 3 days.
Your family there? Or?
Nope.
Oh, just
fucking balling out.
Oh, all right.
Yard. Hey, the big 3-0 starting early, baby. Big 3-0 starting early. So
good for you.
A lot of that going on. And then of course we'll be in Summer League, working on a few things as well. We're gonna be doing some episodes.
Yes.
We'll probably try and do 2 episodes out there.
Yeah.
A Saturday episode, and a Sunday, maybe just a mess around episode at the pool. Probably, bring some stuff, bring some mics, interview some people, whoever's around, just see what's up throughout the day. Obviously the big birthday bash as well. So really, again, just stay tapped in with No Client Agent Privilege and LSC as we go along. It's exciting stuff happening. We're excited to have our clients come on, excited to really get going on some of the other, news we have for you guys with what LSC is doing and what we're accomplishing on the NIL side, the pro side, and a lot of, what's coming next for us as an agency and what's also coming for our clients, and, really trying to build ourselves up as a podcast and trying to get into that sports podcast world, because that's where the goal is to be, top 10 in the podcast on, YouTube, Spotify, all that. We'd love to really start collabing with some other podcasts and, doing the giveaways where, you sign, you subscribe, and you get the chance. So a lot of that stuff will be great.
Yeah.
Get some mics, get some headphones, all that stuff that, really would entice somebody to want to continue to listen to, but also give them a reason.
And also, maybe start somebody else's podcasting
who
career
knows?
Or streaming career.
There's
so many people out there that play 2K,
I mean,
Madden, the new NCAA.
It's coming hot. It's coming
all you
hot.
need is a microphone, a pair of headphones, and like these days you playing on console, it's kind of easy to just set up a streaming and just record it all through the console. So, for all those people out there that watch us and also enjoy their sports video games and sports media, what better combination is it?
I mean, I've read books on podcasting in general and how new it really is.
Absolutely.
I mean, in the long term longevity of it all, we have not even gotten out of phase. You could say phase 1 of growth. It's still in
COVID kind of kickstarted it.
It bumped it for sure. Yeah, but in regards to its infancy, it's still so new. Like even just talking about streaming in general too, not even considered podcasting, but in generally speaking, the ability to stream and the ability to podcast on a consistent basis like this, it is insane to think, hey, I've got 5,000 plus people watching per episode, or worldwide. Who knows when we do the Germany episode, when we do the Austria episode, when we tag the teams, we do this, we do that. We bring the GM on, or whatever it may be. We go in and we talk. How big of a fan bases can you go worldwide? And that's kind of why I even said, kind of YOLO, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like why not? Like Chad, he's a great personality as a whole. I don't know if you saw, we'll have to clip it, but he scored a touchdown in his first game as an offensive lineman last week, and it was amazing. He hit the gritty and all. We're gonna clip that in there. Shout out to Big Chad on his first touchdown as an offensive lineman. So we'll clip that into and you guys can go see him. But when we go to Germany, I'll make sure to get an interview with him. And we're really excited about how fast this is growing, how big we can get this. Really looking forward to some our sponsors coming on board. Really tapping in with that and really turning in this to a legitimate what's the word for it? Business? Yeah, business, I guess. But turning it into something where everyone can come and kind of see what the sports agent life is like, see what it's like to have clients, how their stories are all different. Everyone has a story, whether it's a sad story, a good story.
Right.
There's always bumps and bruises, and that's that's life in general.
Yeah, we want to be accessible.
It's all of them.
There's a lot of sports agencies that kind of keep everything behind closed doors. Why not give somebody a perspective, somebody that wants to be like you?
Right.
Why not give them a little bit more insight into how things work and how there are all these different avenues of money and outreach that can be achieved through.
And how many interns like you have we had that have gone on to not be an agent but find their passion in sports? It's like you don't have to follow my path. Like, you can love being a sports agent and then find out what it's really like, in the real world, and be like, nah, it's not for me. I've had plenty of agents. I've had plenty of interns that have come. The first thing they say is, I want to be an agent. And then it turns out 2 months into the internship, yeah, I see how hard it is. I think I'm going to find something else. I've got guys that work for the Rays now. I've got guys that work for the Bucks now. The
Hard Rock Stadium.
Hard Rock Stadium. Who else is working? I've got another intern coming on who works for a minor league baseball team.
A former intern works for a different agency.
I do have two interns that have turned into agents. So, two of them have turned into agents. But one was already working at an agency. He just came on board for more experience. And the other one was kind of the same thing with Alex. I feel like, same thing. Yeah. So really, again, was it a big deal? No. But were they kind of, pushed into the agent world? Sure. So I don't even know. I mean, I hope they're doing well. I obviously, the whole thing with the agent world, it's cutthroat, and that's the truth of it. It is what it is. It's not easy. It's not.
You can still be friends,
of course, and that's where I always fall off with it. It's like, dude, you unfollowed me. You unfollowed the agency page. Like, you did all this shit. Like, a lot of those guys, I'm just like, why? Like, I don't care. Like,
social media,
right? Yeah, that's the generational thing. It's not like, dude, nobody cares. Like,
I don't. Be friends.
You can easily.
I have money to go around.
Dude, there really is. If somebody chooses me over you because of who you are as a person, okay, that is fine. But if you're gonna go and tell me that you just offered him more money and that's why he picked you, then I have an issue. That's where I have an issue. So for me, as an agent, that's just, it's part of the game. It's part of the world that I'm in, that we're in. I want my guys and girls to choose me for me. It is what it is.
It's still fun and it's still lucrative.
Oh yeah, we love this. Yeah, we love this stuff. If you never need to know anything about how hard it is super hard. But we love what we do, and we love doing what we do. Like between all this, between the podcast, between the travel, between the meetings, shaking hands with these types of guys, it's incredible. So we're really glad you joined us. We're really glad, we get to do this, every week. We're getting better every week. I think every episode has gotten better every week. All the cuts, really, really digging self. And I think it's worth every hour, every penny that we've been really pushing. So thank you so much for listening. We're super excited to have you guys on for more. For Will and for myself, we're really excited to keep going with you guys, and we're looking forward to another episode of No Client Agent Privilege under the Tiki Hut, and maybe worldwide now. So we're gonna keep going, and we're gonna hopefully you guys stay on board for the ride. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next week.